Let's do a proper intro for once, shall we? So this week we have a husband who doesn't want to move to the United States, a wedding so bad you wish you were a fly on the wall to witness it, a cat parent has an interesting nickname for their baby, and a wife ready to divorce her husband. But an incident changed everything. Plus, it wouldn't be a Monday without an amazing Underbaki segment where we have another all listeners submitted rate that date. So finally, if you're a patron or YouTube member, you also get the story of a husband asking for advice when they found out their wife has been snooping on their phone. Read it on
And
Wiki.
if you're an ICE agent, you.
Don't
Oh
bleep
yeah,
this.
we're still cussing.
Yeah.
Don't
Nice. Trump.
No kings, baby.
No kings.
Except for short
only,
kings.
Only the short king, our Canadian king, and
Whoa.
our Venmo king over here.
Hmm.
So
Giving
yeah,
white
whatever.
guy king status is dangerous.
Uh,
We know this.
Canadian prime minister. Is that what we're going with?
We do technically still have a king. So,
Do you guys?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the English king, monarch is technically our king.
Wow.
It's-
Anyways, Reddit on Wiki starts right now.
Get therapy.
I'm not reading.
Get
What's up, Wikimaniacs, and welcome to another Monday Reddit Readings episode. I'm your host today, the punny Pinoy John, apparently short king, and joined with me as usual are my boys, Josh and Sean. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
I'm gonna be googling that later.
It's mostly ceremonial.
Why the does Canada give a shit?
I don't know. To be fair, I truly don't think we should, but some people, it's still in tradition, I guess. So that we do
bootlicking
it.
the English monarch? What the hell, Canada?
I know. I think Australia is maybe the same, but
Yeah, I mean, but y'all fully don't have the Union Jack and the flag at all. Like Australia, no offense, y'all still
Talk
rocking
to
it
him.
a little bit.
Talk to him, Sean.
our flag's the coolest.
Anyways, before we get started today, if you like what we do, consider being a patron or YouTube member so you can unlock bonus stories, bonus episode. We do live streams, ad-free episodes, early access. Links will be on the show notes. And also be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching us over on YouTube. But if you're following us on Spotify or other podcast platforms, hit the follow anyways. And also help us get 100,000 subscribers because I want that fucking button, people.
Whoa. Wait, what?
So bad.
You get it?
No, like all of us gets it.
Well, there's only one. So someone's going to
But can we
Keep it.
order 3?
I think you have to
Yeah,
pay
I could
for
probably
it.
find. I'm fine with a bootleg one. Yeah, one of
Yeah, I
y'all
was
can
gonna
get
say
the
we're
real
gonna,
one.
we're gonna order. We're gonna order one for
I want
everybody.
one that's obviously the real one, and then 2 real shit ones like cardboard or something.
I'm 100% positive it's on Temu somewhere.
Yeah, I just want us to have it. All right.
Just put it, lean it up
I'm just
against
gonna hold
Artie.
it. I'm just gonna hold it the whole time. Be like, this is our baby.
It'll be in front of my face. Some shitty cardboard cutout.
But yes, also we have the Gaycation merch out right now on redonwikishop.com. But boys,
Oh yeah, AliExpress for $20.
Oh,
I mean, it's
look,
like,
we're set.
all right.
We can have it right now. You know what? Don't subscribe.
fuck it, who cares?
You know what? Let's do something different. You know how YouTube gives 100,000? Let's just fucking just do it when we get 69,000 subscribers.
Oh, I like that.
Honestly,
And it's just a
Kinda
fist bump.
fire.
Or that's the PewDiePie one, isn't it?
what? He has
Who's
a fist bump.
PewDiePie?
10 million one? I think it's.
Oh, damn. He got 10. Oh, anyways.
He has way more than 10 million, but I
He's
think
Can
that,
we do
he
that?
was the
Can we
most
just
popular guy,
reward
I think.
ourselves when we get 69,000 subscribers?
I mean, we could do whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, truly,
That's
it's
true.
probably. I mean, it's $20 on Timo. I think we could do. Yeah, we could buy it now if you want to.
Can we? I want it. Low key. But before we get started today, boys, anything you'd like to add?
RedditOnWikishop.com. RedditOnWikishop.com.
I do have something to add.
Whoa.
The bro
Add away,
fist was
brother.
for 50 million, not 10 million. So,
Mm.
but we could make a new one called the
For
fist bump,
69,000.
and it's just a really shitty Temu version.
Oh, I'll take it, to be honest.
Uh,
All right. Well, I have a semi-long first story, and it's kind of fitting in a way that we started, Friday's episode and kind of like this week's episode too. So kind of curious about our commentary for this one. This one is cross-posted by T3AS4M. The title is How do I, male 37, tell my wife, 38 female, that I don't want to move to the US without sounding like an unsupportive husband?
I think it's very easy right now to say. I
was
mean,
gonna say.
I feel like this is the perfect time to have this conversation.
Yeah. I imagine your wife got a job in the States and then you're just like, I don't want to go. You know how
Mhm.
many Canadian people like I've talked to that are just like, yeah, we're just not going to go to the States like this year.
That's fair.
We're just not going to go. We're not going to spend any money there. We're going to go somewhere in Canada or Europe. And it's just like, yeah, I don't blame
Europe
you.
right now is, or at least Spain, they don't want you there.
No, that's fair.
I've seen a lot of videos.
It's fair.
Don't go to Spain right now, y'all.
I'm going to fucking Spain. Be like, you know how much you colonize our fucking people, Spain?
That's
fair.
true. They did.
I
That's fair.
deserve to fucking be here and enjoy the shit, all right? Fuck you too.
I will say the people living there are not the people. They did not do it.
But they benefited from it, Sean.
I don't give a damn, John.
They have benefited from, I guess.
All right. Story goes as this. My 37 male, wife, 38 female, was recently offered a position at a major corporation in California. She is currently working as a chemical engineer in Dublin, earning a very competitive salary. The only catch, at least for my wife, is that there's little to no room for professional growth in her current job because she's already reached the highest position available in her department. A few months ago, she mentioned looking around for a new job as she was feeling really burnt out with her present role. As her husband, of course, I wholeheartedly supported her. She never really mentioned anything about US or that she was even applying to a position in California. Now, ever since she received her offer a few days ago, she's been really happy and excited about possibly moving there. Despite my concerns, I've been very supportive because I did not want her to think that I'm not happy for her because I am. But I really don't want to move to the US. My wife and I are originally from the Philippines. Shout out Philippines.
Hmm.
We have 2 little girls who were born here in Ireland. The eldest will be starting primary school this year, and I worry that if we ever move, she will have a hard time adjusting to a completely different country. In addition, with the current political climate, I'm scared that she might be bullied for being an immigrant. I know how that feels. Not that it can't happen here, but the chances of it happening in US is more likely. Our parents also frequently visits us here from the Philippines and they get to be present in our children's lives. But again, with its current political climate, if we move to the US, it might be difficult for our parents to apply for a tourist visa and fly in to visit us. My wife is really happy and it fills me with joy seeing how excited she is, especially after hearing her complain about how unfulfilling her current job is for months on end. But I honestly don't think moving our family to the United States is the move. How do I tell her this without sounding like an unsupportive husband?
I feel like you're just going to have to voice your opinion. And if it comes across as unsupportive, I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, it's, I will say this. If you're going to move somewhere in the States, California ain't too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It can,
I mean, but there are bigots quite literally everywhere.
yeah.
I mean, especially where there are rich people, you can imagine there will be MAGA. Because again, this is a war on class, y'all. Don't let them tell you otherwise. But yeah, I mean, at least you're moving to one of the more liberal places in the States. You got a better shot there than you do here. I'll tell you that. I mean, John grew up in California and he still dealt with his fair share of bullying of being an immigrant.
I grew up in a very diverse area where there's a lot of Filipinos and I still got bullied by them.
Yeah. And, I've never been, but Ireland sure does have like a good reputation of being pretty anti-bully and fuck,
Rightfully so.
rightfully so. So they hate they seem to be on the right side of history a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Take out Conor McGregor. But besides him, it
You
seems
get
like
about
y'all have a
100.
pretty impeccable record of being on the right side of history. So it's just, I would be weary. And I feel like, we say this all the time. You got to be able to have these kind of hard conversations with your partner. It is kind of like a blow, but also you got to think like, you just got to let them know like, hey, I'm super happy you found a job. I'm sure it's not easy out there finding a job, especially when you're as high of a position as you are. But like, we never really discussed like what that looks like if we were to move. We never discussed moving in general, let alone America. Just like in general, I didn't know like moving was an option. So it's just like, before you accept, I wish we would have had, that kind of conversation or like, but I don't know if she accepted before you applied, it would be nice to have that kind of conversation. Cause like if I pulled up and I told Nancy, hey, we have to move our entire life, I got the job elsewhere, she'd be like, I feel like a conversation should have been warranted,
That's where I was going to go, Sean, with, two things. Where it's just like, did she have these conversations with you beforehand? If not, that's not very fair of her to just expect you to be able to like pick up and move.
Yeah, because he said in the story that he didn't even know this was like an option.
Right.
So it sounds like the conversation definitely didn't happen.
Yeah. So like that's a big ask of a partner with no conversation. Like I think that's pretty terrible as a partner to not have that conversation before you start applying. And
because then you put them in like a weird, in this weird
exact
situation where they're like, oh no, I am super happy and proud of you, but also moving entire countries.
Yeah.
Especially to a place that's not the greatest.
Especially towards immigrants right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing I would bring up is specifically, I believe your wife would be on an H-1B visa, right?
We'll get to that. And we'll get to that in an update.
I don't know if you've read the news in a while, but that is not going well for people in those positions right now. So I imagine your wife would get fucked over pretty terribly, or can at least in those situations where, I mean, she literally has no power to negotiate in many situations. So
yep.
But I don't know. I just wouldn't put yourself in that, like a move all the way across the world to one of the most expensive places in the world to live, all for like, a job where you won't be able to negotiate afterwards. I think that's a tough ask for someone with a young family.
I 100% agree with what you guys said there. And the situation too is, yes, California is probably one of the states that it's probably a good idea to go. And this is coming from like someone who has lived there, right? And someone who has experienced there. There's a lot of Filipinos in California. So in terms of community setting, that's probably one of the most perfect places that you can absolutely go. However, I don't think OP here is being unsupportive at all. I think the OP here is being realistic about the situation.
Yes.
And kind of like what Josh hammered there already, like the H-1B visas are complicated as hell. As someone who has, been in the recruiting space, I've seen people who were working in an H-1B visa. And one, I think they're severely underpaid because the companies are trying to say like, well, we're already paying so much of your shit because like we tried to get you here documentation wise. And I've seen like the burnout of the people going through all that stuff. You're essentially your company's bitch.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything because they're going to be like, oh, well, we paid so much. And if you want to decide to get the fuck out of here, then you're going to have to pay for every single thing that we did for you. Like process of getting the documentation, the housing, all that stuff. So it's one of those buy-ins, right? And it's also unfair that the partner unilaterally made that decision for that whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like just them two, no kids involved, that's still selfish. But now you're involving kids too. And you're also making it difficult for like, I think OP's parents too, because like they are very much involved in their lives. Like it sounds like they're helping take care of the kids. You're also putting them at a disadvantage. Like, well, we can't see our grandkids more often. And it's going to be a difficult thing to do because of how difficult getting visas are currently in the United States. So like what the boy said, I think the hard conversation needs to be had here. I hate the statement, you got to put your foot down, but you do have to buck a little bit and have that conversation and say like, hey, we got to think about this, like long-term repercussions. What's this going to be like?
Yeah. Well, it's not even putting your foot out. It's like, we've got to have a legitimate conversation.
Yes.
We haven't even had that yet. And it's just like, and then, I didn't even think about the parents as like, if they're watching the kids a lot, like, then you're going to have to find like daycare, which costs a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find a new job, like out there. And it's just like, that can't always be easy for, someone who maybe doesn't have as transferable as skills, potentially. So it's just, I don't know. There's so many concerns that I would have that it would just be like, is this truly worth the career move? Like, could we not go anywhere else? Is this just the first one you got accepted to and you're just like, let's go? Like,
and on top of that, what if OP has a job that's stable in Ireland right now? You're going to expect them to like leave and they're going to have to start all over too. So you're kind of fucking up a lot of factors here. So there is an update for this one. And also there's a version on our subreddit that I kind of found hilarious. And then OP from the real post, they gave a little bit more information and then I'll go towards the update. So It's a deleted comment, but they put, just goes to show that there are different kinds of smart. Could I be a chemical engineer? No, but if I was posted up in Ireland with 2 little daughters, I sure as sugar wouldn't be hyped to move to the US. To which the person that cross posted this, T3S4M, put, oh, for sure, interested to hear John's take as a Filipino who grew up in California. To which the deleted comment put, bro, I was like, who is John? I didn't realize the subreddit was for a podcast. It was just a juicy curation that got suggested to my feed. To which the reposter put, laughing my ass off, the fact that you're a top 1% commenter makes this even funnier.
That's insane.
And then Jagged Rain commented, the sub is for a podcast? Damn, I had no idea. It just keeps popping up on my feed. To which additional tax 8745 put, oh my God, this is a podcast? I've been here for a while and I thought it was just a collection of good posts. Guess it makes sense. I'd probably listen to that podcast.
You should. You should fucking listen.
That's like when we did the listener story or the so-called listener story last week. I was like, I don't know if they're truly a listener, but they posted on our subreddit.
That's true.
It's because you can never know.
Yeah, true that. So from the real post, and Bet on Letty asked, which part of California? We might be able to run the numbers for you and show your wife that even with a pay increase, it is possible your quality of life will go down. And that's without the current political climate. California is unreasonably expensive.
We didn't even bring up healthcare.
That part too.
Touch on that.
To which OP, which is Own Celebration 9431, commented, I think it's in Sunnyvale. So kind of like Silicon Valley, almost San Francisco area.
Super expensive.
If you make 6 figures as a household in San Francisco, you're technically making minimum wage.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That is crazy.
To which they put edit, the company in California is indeed offering her a significant amount of money, much higher than her current salary. However, we already own our place here in Dublin, and if we move to US, we do have to find a new home. I've been looking around online, and the price tags for the properties at the city where she will be working in makes her salary looks like minimum wage, which is true. Housing crisis there is rough. And now to the update. This one is a pretty long update too. So they put, hello everyone. Thank you so much for all the advice on my previous post. I made that post at the break of dawn, and I think I was even half asleep, so I apologize for the lack of details. I didn't expect it to receive so many comments, and I can't reply to all of them, so I'm making a separate post to answer some of the comment questions, plus give some updates. The company she will be working for is in Sunnyvale, California. Her estimated first-year package is close to $500,000 US.
What's that like?
It's nice, but it's not California Silicon Valley nice, which is sad.
That's true, yeah.
They are offering to cover moving expenses for a family of 4, and once in California, we will have temporary housing for 60 days. She will also be given a $30,000 sign-on bonus. It's going to go to state tax, buddy. You ain't going to see that shit. Both of these, the relocation assistance and sign-on bonus, is subject to a retention clause. I think she has to work for the company for at least 24 months. Otherwise, she has to repay them. Her base salary is going to be $410,000, more than twice her current wage. Immigration-wise, the company will sponsor her H-1B visa, and a permanent green card sponsorship will be available after 24 months of employment. She will also have an unlimited PTO, scam, and health insurance will be 100% covered by her employer. Lastly, they're also offering her RSUs and a 401k package. Currently, we earn just over 520,000 euros per year as engineers. I work remotely as a software engineer for a US-based company, but that arrangement may be impacted if we relocate to the United States since I likely won't be permitted to work under an H-4 visa. We also fully own a 6-bedroom home in Dublin. Moving to California would mean going back to paying rent or taking on mortgage again.
Why would you ever move?
Why?
You've got it made.
Set
got it made.
Yeah, y'all have enough money.
You're both making together over $500,000.
Yeah.
In Dublin, which like is expensive to live in, but like if you're making $500,000 together,
you make $500,000 anywhere, bro. You're doing well compared to the rest of society.
Well, but not in Silicon Valley. That's one of the
not
few
in
places.
Silicon Valley. Yes, for sure.
And then you would lose your job too, probably.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why even consider this? I don't know.
We've also been to California several times before, and my wife loves the fact that it's home to many Filipinos, which is true.
I mean, that's fair.
She says that she'd like for our kids to grow up around other Filipino kids. Plus, she'd been away for the Philippines for so long. She did her PhD in Singapore for 5 years, and 2 years after that, we moved to Dublin. I think the idea of being around our own folks really makes the idea of moving to California more enticing. Anyway, I brought up my concerns to her today, and we've actually been discussing them since this morning. She seems genuinely intent on accepting the job, and I asked her whether she's drawn to it because it truly excites her, or if she's just eager to escape her current role. As others mentioned in my previous post, what if we go through the stress of relocating to California only for her to end up hating this job too? I told her that if her main reason is just wanting to leave her current position, she can just quit. In fact, I've been encouraging her to quit her job ever since she told me how burnt out she was last year. I had even suggested that we take a month off back in the Philippines to reset and help her recover before job hunting again. Hell, she can take a year off from working for all I care. I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
She's incredibly
You're making
accomplished.
250.
Yeah,
It's
or
a lot.
yeah, around that anyway. So it's just like, yeah, you could support, and you own your home. It's not
Yes.
so it's that you could take a break from work and take the time you need to find a better fitting job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's incredibly accomplished with an impressive resume, and I truly don't think she'd have much trouble finding something new and more fulfilling and is not in the United States once she decides to work again. The only answer she could give me regarding my question was, I don't know. We'd run the numbers and she believes that it's doable, even on a single income. After reading all the comments on my previous post, I'm convinced that even with a $400,000 annual salary, we will not be able to maintain the same lifestyle as we do have in Dublin. We travel often, and our eldest does a lot of activities over the years, such as sports and musical lessons. We're also planning to send her to a private school, and I'm scared that if we try to continue living the same way as we did in Ireland, we'd run through our savings fast if we go this route. Thankfully, after showing her the news and what's been going on in the US right now, plus the school shootings, she agreed that it might not be a good idea to go as a family. But now, she is insisting on going alone and flying back to Ireland on holidays or vacations to see us. Honestly, I'm really upset that she would even suggest this. I would be upset too, because it's like, okay, now you're gonna throw all the care to me so you can.
Yeah,
That's fucking selfish as hell. Especially when our eldest is just about to start school. She'd be missing out on so much as a parent, and I asked her what will be the long-term plan for us if she decides to go that path, because we can't realistically sustain a long-distance setup forever. I guess that struck a nerve. She snapped and told me that if I don't want her to take the job, I should just say so instead of pretending to support her while constantly trying to talk her out of it.
What?
I'm on it.
He said he wanted you to be happy and be comfortable living as a family, all of which you are not seeming on even thinking about.
Yeah, you're doing it for your own selfish reasons,
Yeah.
and you want to uproot everyone else and fuck everyone else over.
Yeah.
I'm honestly so tired and upset. I'm really trying to keep a level head and meet her halfway, but I need her to do the same for me. She's usually very rational about things, so this current outburst plus a sudden urge to move to California confuses me so much. We're at a stalemate right now, but I feared that if she continues to insist on going to California on her own, I'd eventually just fold and agree to moving there as a family. I love my wife and my daughters, and I really don't want them to be apart from each other. She has until the end of the month to decide, so I'm hoping she has a change of heart by then. Thank you all for your support, advice, and kind words.
I think it's wild to suggest that.
Yeah.
Like, almost like if you move, I mean, kind of divorce, right? Like,
Well, OP said
We've
he
sh-
would go with her.
which I think is crazy.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying is crazy.
That's why I'm just like, I think you should, if she goes through with that, she's like not thinking of you and the kids at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Mhm.
brought up like, okay, we won't be able to live the same way. We may blow through our savings if we do.
I might lose my
also-
job.
Yeah, I might lose my job. Also, school shootings seem to happen quite often there. It's just like, when you're already in the place that you guys are at, it's just like, how much more do you need,
Mm-hmm.
I get being like unfulfilled in a job. Like, it sucks going to the job.
Which is like
but
OP
yeah.
offered, like, take a break, find something else. We can sustain our life here.
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
that's
wanna
what
go
I was
find
going to
something,
say.
yeah.
He already offered you to like just not work at all,
It also
So
doesn't
it's
sound like OP's completely against the idea of moving to another country. It's just like which country
Not
they're
the
moving to.
well, that too, but it's just like, I think he would just like to have the conversation before, you go
Well,
around
that- yeah.
accepting roles too,
Yeah.
like London is not that far away.
No.
That's 8 hour.
Vancouver has a huge Filipino community. Like if that's something that you want to, it's also expensive to live there, but like
But at
there's
least
tons,
it's not the U.S.
yeah, and there's tons of tech
Yeah.
jobs there that you can find, like, or even like work remotely across the border. Like, I don't know. Just seems like she's going all in for this job that you said a lot of things like we're 24 months before she gets like full benefits and stuff like that. It's like, I feel they're going to fire her at 23 months. You know what I mean?
I actually have like a somewhat of a personal story, like kind of like this. So before like our show was kind of taking off a little bit, I was offered a fat ass offer for this one fucking company in California. It's a car company, not Elon's. It's another one. I'm not gonna name them.
Waymo.
Burn them all.
The car looks sick. But they offered me like a really, really nice paycheck. So like, we were thinking about it. Like Juliet and I were just like, hey, let's fucking maybe move back to California. We're gonna be in Irvine. Like that's gonna be a good an hour drive back home. She had a good job too, and she could like transfer all her skills, that type of shit. But like during the process when things were like moving forward, guess what that company fucking did? Right when we were gonna like go and like make all the moves, they were just like, hey, we're gonna end up like moving, rescinding the offer. So it's like that situation can hella happen for them.
Yeah.
These companies can just switch on a drop of a dime and they don't give a damn.
No, and they can
If, like,
especially
you're-
do that with H-1B visas.
Yeah, especially with that,
Yeah.
right? So it's like that situation where it's like you're risking so much when I'm not saying like people should be like complacent on your things, but like your accomplishments together as a unit right now, it's insane for you to just throw that shit away.
Yeah, most people are enviable about the position you're in. It's like, yeah, you might hate your job, but like your partner is saying, like, take some time.
Yes.
Take the time to apply to jobs that you like. Quit your job right now. That's fine. We can figure this out. Like, we're comfortable. We're fine. Like, we're still making a good amount. We got it. We own our house. We have our parents here. And then like you can take the time you need to apply to jobs that in countries or, cities that we feel comfortable moving to as a family unit
Mhm.
together. Like we're agreed on this together rather than a country that, I don't feel comfortable moving to.
And that should have been the end of that. If one partner say like, hey, I'm not comfortable here,
Yes.
that should have been the deciding factor, to be honest.
Yeah. And the fact that it was pushed on him blindsided is,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a great
Yeah.
response.
I checked their profile. No further updates on that so far. So hopefully things work out for y'all.
Hopefully.
That was a long story. So let's kind of lighten the mood a little bit. And you did a wedding shaming story last week, Josh.
I did.
Doing another one for this episode, buddy. It is wedding season, to be honest. So
It is. Yeah.
I want to share a picture with you guys because this is what was the original post was, but the actual content that we're going to be reading today was one of their top comments. So first, I want to get your thoughts on this specific picture. So let me just pull it up and share real quick.
Oh, John, that's your cheeks. I don't want to see that.
Oh, you like it? I've been working out a lot. So this is the photo.
Oh, tough.
Yeah. So this one is from r/wedding shaming, posted by Dancing Bears 88. Title was, my friend is a wedding photographer. Everyone thinks this is cute. I think it's gross. Which I kind of find it a little bit funny, Josh, because the picture is the guy with an Xbox One. If this was Diet Coke and like, what's that game that you were playing? The medieval game?
Okay.
Kingdom Come Deliverance
yeah.
2. If this was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I'd have been like, Josh?
Yeah. And unfortunately, I've been avoiding Coke, so this is not me. But
Oh, that's true.
yeah.
What game is it?
The game is
Division.
it looks like Division.
Yeah. Okay. So for audio listeners, what's happening is this is a wedding cake topper where the bride is dragging the groom who's on the ground, who has an Xbox on his lap, Coke cans beside him, an Xbox controller beside him, a remote control, and the Division video game beside him, implying that she had to drag him there from his video games.
Mm-hmm. And then they captioned it, imagine spending $60,000 on a wedding and your groom would rather be playing video games.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
As far as his wedding cake, I want to hear your thoughts about this, guys.
I mean, the cake itself
Trash.
looks good.
Oh, the topper? Yeah, the topper is trash.
The topper is gross.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so I can see my stuff. But that's actually not the story. So the actual highlight of this specific story is a commenter by Alice Anonymous 99 commented a story about a wedding that they attended, and I thought it was funny as fuck. So the story goes as this: my wife's family had this on their cake. Wedding song was "Before He Cheats."
Oh. Oh no.
The food was a potluck. Groom punched a guest and was taken by police. 10 out of 10.
Holy shit.
Potluck?
I mean,
I
Sean's face.
would never. If you told me I'm cooking for your wedding,
that's true. That's what a potluck is too. I was thinking buffet.
what?
I was thinking buffet.
You want all of us to bring a goddamn dish to your goddamn wedding?
Oh.
And you want me to bring a gift on top? What?
The song before, I don't know the song Before He Cheats. So if someone can
It's
explain
a
that
good
to
one.
me.
Who is it
Carrie
by?
Underwood, I think. It's a country song.
Yes, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like
I put my
into the side of his beautiful four-wheel drive. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I don't know if Sean doesn't know the lyrics or he's just
I don't. I just know leather seats.
he just
I
doesn't-
know the
beats.
like the thing to that, but I don't know the lyrics as well. So
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
I didn't know who that is. So all right, story goes as this.
Oh, that wasn't even
About
the story.
No, that wasn't a story.
Holy shit.
About 20 people show up to the ceremony. Afterwards, we all went to the
Wait,
next
was that
town-
all a title? Or
That was just the title.
crazy.
holy shit?
No, this was a person commenting their experience at a wedding, but that was
Okay.
like what they highlighted as their title.
Ugh.
Oh,
About 20 people show up to the ceremony. Afterwards, we all went to the next town over to go to the community center for the reception. By now, the groom was so angry, he wouldn't even take wedding photos. We go back and announce the first dance before he cheats. By announce, I mean, it was like, hey, we're doing the dance. No DJ, just an iPod.
well, you know this was like more than a decade ago then.
Mm.
Ugh.
This dude lost his shit. He ran outside screaming at everyone, came up to me and yelled in my face. I was laughing at him, and that was their first time meeting, they said. This is when I went back inside and the punch occurred. So the commenter was the one that got punched. in the
Oh
face.
no.
By the time I was back out, the groom was running away from the cops, but literally ran a house away, so he was caught. We were told to continue to party. I also had to create the little party favors to pay for my plate as it was already paid for. I literally worked for hours to help, and afterwards, they never said thank you or anything. Anyway, they're much better now and still married. Bonus, I thought her family was trashy until I remembered my cousin's wedding. Huge wedding, probably cost $200,000.
Holy shit.
It was incredible. About halfway through, realized the bride's sister, bridesmaid, and the best man are gone. Both their spouses still there. The bride's sister and the best man ran off and no one knew where they were for days. They had separate spouses and kids that they left. The bridesmaid and the best man are still together. The sisters do not speak.
What the fuck?
How did you go from never meeting the groom, laughing at the song, getting punched, and then you made wedding favors?
I think before.
Before.
Oh.
Yeah.
I simply would not be involved in a wedding where I didn't know both the bride and groom.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I just
Yeah.
wouldn't be like,
Like if you're friends with both of them, sure, I'll do some stuff.
yeah, if I'm friends with just one of them, no, I'm not going to work for
You're
you
also
guys.
bringing your own meal, Sean.
Yeah.
Also that, and the fact, if I ever got a wedding invite that said potluck dinner, I said, that's hilarious.
I think the craziest
No.
thing about that story was that they're still together.
Yeah. Also, just to kind of put a little bit of a visual of how the ceremony was, I want to say this was for the first wedding. They put the ceremony took place in the front lawn of my wife's uncle. Front lawn faces the highway, so cars are just flying by. The younger cousin was singing the entire time, very badly. I work in the music industry, so I was also being bothered about how I should sign this kid.
Oh God, that's awful.
Wait, which wedding was this?
I think
The
this was the
OG.
first one because this was like on top of like the edit was on top of the first one.
Yeah, that's tough.
This wedding was a mess.
I mean, I get if you don't have the money, like do what you can do, but based on how the groom has been reacting this whole time, it just sounds like he didn't want to pay for anything. So yeah, this is
I
crazy.
just simply think if you can't,
Say it.
I mean, this is changing the vision to the highest caliber. You know what I mean? It's just,
There's no vision.
I mean,
how you gonna run away from the cops, go to the next house, and got caught immediately, bro?
Yeah.
I just can't imagine where it's a good idea to just iPod out speaker for the whole wedding. It's just right. Don't do. Just have a personal, private event. Just you. I mean, I truly don't know what you spent on.
Oh,
Not the food.
no.
Not a DJ.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. When we were like broke teenagers to have a speaker because we couldn't afford speakers back then, we would get
Oh, yeah,
two
a
red
cup.
solo cups, and the
Yeah.
tissue paper, and fucking just connect it. That should be a good speaker, man.
That shit is loud.
That
It
shit
actually
is
works.
loud.
It works.
It does work.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, just a fucking iPod to the ether is crazy work.
Oh shit. All right. Moving on to the next story. This one is from one of our goats riding giraffe. The title for this one is Today I Fucked Up by Greeting My Cat While on the Phone.
Oh no, I could see it because I do baby talk with my cats. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm accidentally on the phone, like if I'm on the phone thinking I'm on, pause or something like that, and then I start talking to Ringo, I could see that being pretty fucking embarrassing.
Even baby talk. Sometimes it's just like, when cats are getting pet and then they like put their butt in the air. Like I can imagine being like, fucking get your ass out of my face, Cara. And then somebody on the phone be like, you're married to Nancy. What the
Yo.
fuck are you talking about?
Oh, all right. Story goes as this. Important background fact. I call my cat White Boy as a nickname.
Hey, that's what you guys call me too.
Come here, White Boy. It's a long story about how that came about, but the end result is we lovingly refer to him as White Boy when he enters a room. So I have to pick up a prescription at Costco, but I'm not feeling well and wanted to double check that my partner could just go straight into the pharmacy and pick it up for me without my Costco card since they're doing the scanning machines now, and decided to call our specific club just to make sure. Better safe than sorry. I live in a pretty small state with one real city. So most of the time when I call a place, I'm on hold for a good bit, but since everyone kind of flocks to the city for everything, so I was expecting it to ring for a couple minutes before an attendant picked me up. So I'm mentally prepared to basically have my phone on standby for a bit when my cat jumps on the bed. As always, I very excitedly greet him with, "Hi, White Boy," as the as the call rings one singular time and the attendant picks up. He immediately, in a semi-horrified, semi-confused voice, answers, "Hello?" And I was so mortified that I couldn't bring myself to clarify and simply barreled through with my question and was promptly transferred to the appropriate department.
Barreling through it, I think, is wild.
If I ever
think you're
call
like, oh,
If I ever call you guys and you don't answer with "What up, White Boy?" I'm gonna be
It's your
severely
boy, White Boy.
disappointed.
holy shit.
Oh shit. I will say you'll appreciate this one, Sean, because of their username. But top commenter, Peanut Flamer, they put, "I really hope the person who answered the phone was black and confused as hell." To which CH Math 80 commented, "Oh, they are white and are now paranoid that they're being watched. Many years ago, the supervisor at my after-school job was calling around to fill a vacant shift and rang one of the girls. She answered, and he, trying to butter her up to agree to cover, said, 'Hello, name. You're looking spectacular today.' She screamed and dropped the phone. Apparently, she just got out of the shower to answer the phone.
Oh,
Naked."
Jeez. Traumatizing.
Why would you open up with that line?
Oh, hey, girl, you looking good?
Hi, white boy.
We're gonna start introducing Josh.
That's how I'm answering my phone to my friends from now.
They're also all white boys.
A lot of them are.
What are we gonna call fake Josh? Hey, fake white boy.
Still white boy.
Hi, other white boy. Yeah. It still works.
Oh, fuck. All right. Moving on to the last story of today before we head over to the amazing Underbaki. I gotta say, this one, when I first read it, I got in the feels for this one. So
Okay.
hopefully I don't cry on this one. We'll see. All right. This one is cross-posted by Churito331 from r/marriage. The title is, I was ready to leave my husband, but then he almost died trying to save me from a moving car.
Sounds hot. The Speed, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the one with the
Keanu
bus?
reference again.
Yeah, it was the one
That's the
with the
bus one, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
the one with the
shit.
bus. And
Like, so
Sandra
they-
Bullock, right?
Yeah.
It had to maintain a certain speed
60
limit.
miles an hour.
Or the bus will explode.
Oh, shit.
Crazy.
Did they remake that recently?
I want to say they made a similar movie with Jason Statham where if his heart rate goes below a certain amount,
Oh, yeah.
then he
Oh.
dies or something. So there's a scene where he just randomly has sex in public because he was like, I need to have my heart rate up. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous
I
movie
feel there's
ever.
easier ways to do that.
Yeah, you can
just start running, brother.
Run, bitch. I don't know. I don't think you need to subject everyone into your fucking public sex scene, but
I jog
whatever.
100 meters and I'm already at zone 3. Let's go.
Fucking back shots at the back alley.
I'm like, what is going on?
Do some fucking jumping jacks.
I mean, don't tell him fucking jumping jacks. He'll probably do.
Probably did.
Where's Jack? Where do I jump?
All right. Story goes as this. I don't even know where to begin. Maybe I just need to scream this into the void because I haven't really stopped crying for 6 months. My husband, 38 male, and I, 35 female, have been together for 10 years, married for 7. We have 2 kids, a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. And I swear it didn't used to be like this. He was goofy and affectionate, and he'd pull me in close when I was anxious and just hold me until the world stopped spinning. He remembered every little thing, like how I hated pulp in my orange juice or how I couldn't fall asleep unless a closet door was closed. He used to make me feel like I mattered more than anything. Then, our son was born, and that's when everything started to change. I told myself it was just exhaustion, the brutal kind only new parents know. But it didn't get better. He grew quieter, more shut down. The text stopped and no more silly, hey, thinking of you messages. He was never really home, and when he was, his eyes were glazed over. Like his body was there, but his mind was somewhere unreachable. I'd talk about my day, and he'd grunt or stare blankly at his phone. By the time our daughter was born, we were strangers sharing the same space. Conversations were reduced to bills and daycare schedules. I remember sitting at the dinner table one night, realizing I hadn't laughed with him in months, and he didn't even notice. I kept telling myself he'd come back, but he never did. About 8 months ago is when I hit my breaking point. We were in the kitchen, and I just lost it. Tears streaming down my face, and I told him I couldn't do this anymore and that I felt invisible, like it didn't matter, or like I didn't matter. I was begging for something, any sign that he still cared. And he just sat there, eyes empty, like I was a ghost. That night, I started mentally preparing for a divorce. Emotionally, I was done, but I just hadn't said it out loud yet. That was until 6 months ago, when my entire life changed in an instant. It started out like any other day. My car was in a shop, and I reluctantly asked my husband to drive me to get groceries. He didn't want to. I could see it in his face with the way his jaw tightened, but he eventually agreed. We were crossing the parking lot when I heard the screech of tires on asphalt. I barely had time to turn before I saw a white BMW barreling towards us. Before I even reacted, my husband shoved me aside with everything he had. I hit the ground hard with my skin scraping against the rough concrete, and I looked up just in time to see him getting hit. The sound it made, I'll never forget it, like a bag of meat slamming into concrete. He bounced off the hood and landed hard. I screamed so loud people stopped in their tracks. I couldn't feel my legs. I just sobbing, shaking, trying to cradle his head even though there was blood in his mouth and he wasn't breathing right. I remember more people rushing over and someone shouting to call 911. I was on my knees, holding his face, rocking back and forth, saying, "Please don't die. Please don't die. I love you. I love you. I love you." The car sped off without plates and no one managed to catch it. Fucking
What the
hit and
fuck?
run.
Jesus.
I remember hearing sirens and the EMT talking to me, but I couldn't make out the words. At the hospital, they said he had internal bleeding, a fractured femur, a punctured lung, and cracked ribs. No head trauma, thank goodness, but he was unconscious from the shock and blood loss. They had to put him in a medically induced coma. I sat beside my husband in the ICU room and he just fell apart. I held his hand and told him I loved him over and over, and I begged him not to go. Told him I'd forgive everything. I didn't want to raise our babies without their dad. I didn't want to sleep alone. I didn't want to be in this world without the person I loved the most. He woke up the next day groggy and barely able to speak. Just soft whispers of "I love you" and "I'm sorry." That broke my heart every time. For a week and a half, that's all he could manage. Then slowly, my husband started talking to me more. One afternoon, he told me that right before the car hit, everything flashed before his eyes. His life, our kids, the time we've spent together. But in that moment, his life suddenly meant nothing compared to mine. And then for the first time in forever, he opened up to me saying that he'd been a terrible husband. After our son was born, the pressure to provide crushed him. Every paycheck disappeared before he could breathe. He worked nonstop and stayed up all night worrying. The stress turned to frustration, the frustration to anger, and he took it out on us by shutting down. Because in his head, we'd be better off without him. What hurt me the most was hearing my husband say he thought my life might be better if he disappeared, which was one of the reasons why he pushed me away from the car. He was terrified of turning into his father, the man who destroyed his mother, and in some ways he believed he already had. He looked me in the eyes and said he didn't deserve another chance, but if I gave him one, he would fight every day to become a better man. I was sobbing as I heard this. Listening to the things he never shared before made me want to take away all his suffering. Seeing him in this much pain was so overwhelming. Despite everything, all I wanted was to be there for him and protect them. When he got better, I brought the kids to see him. I was nervous about how they'd react, and he still looked rough, and I wasn't sure if they'd be scared. But our son ran straight to him like nothing ever happened. He started talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, it's his favorite game, and what he ate for lunch. My husband held him close, and I could see the tears in his eyes even though he tried to blink them away. Our daughter hung back at first, and she didn't say anything and just stood near the bed. Then she stepped closer and started tugging gently at his blanket. That's when he started crying. A few tears slipped down his face and he didn't try to hide them. He pulled them both and gave them a big hug. The kids didn't really understand the full weight of it, of course. To them, it was just daddy again, but for us, it was everything. Recovery has been hard, and my husband still walks with a limp. Some days, the pain flares up and knocks the wind out of him, but he pushes through. He never misses a therapy session, even when he's tired or sore or just fed up. He gets frustrated sometimes, like when he drops something or moves too fast and pays for it later, but he keeps going. He packs the kids' lunches. He sings ridiculous songs while brushing their teeth, making them giggle so hard they forget to spit. He reads bedtime stories in silly voices and let our daughter fall asleep on his chest even when it means his back will ache for hours. But it's just not the kids. He's showing up for me in ways I didn't realize. He really listens now, asks about my day without checking out, and steps in when I'm overwhelmed before I have to say a word. He holds my hand during errands, kisses me goodbye and say hello, and apologizes more and actually means it. He opens up even when it's hard. He even talks about planning a getaway to Hawaii once he's healed. And when he tells me he loves me, I feel it deep in my bones. I love him so much it hurts. I love the man he was, the man he became, and the man who fought like hell to come back to us. I catch myself looking at him when he's reading to our daughter, and I feel this tidal wave of emotion. I almost lost my husband, and I will never take him for granted again. We're healing slowly. It's messy and sometimes scary, but I'm not going anywhere. My husband saved my life, and now I finally think he's learning how to live it again. Thanks for reading. I don't know if this gives anyone hope. I just needed to get it out.
I mean, happy ending. Took us on a roller coaster to get there, but
Yeah.
I feel like the beginning of this, it's like he was thinking, like he was stressed. He was thinking they'd be better off without them. And she was just like, I just want him to talk to me, like communicate. And it's like, how many stories have we done where it's just like, yeah, just talk about things. It makes it, I promise you, it makes it easier to be able to process things with your partner or someone else that you trust. Like, because I've been in like, depressive slumps. Like I've gone through that, and you do shut down, but the best way out of that is talking, like with a friend, family member, partner, therapist is what we recommend. But if even at a bare minimum, anyone, it's the easiest way to start healing and getting yourself out of that. And it's the hardest first step. But I am glad that he eventually came to that conclusion. It sucks that it took that bad, like that accident to make that occur to him. But yeah, I'm happy they're, rebuilding their relationship and working on each other.
Yeah. I will say this, this is going to sound shitty, but like if he does end up like going back to that state, you don't owe him
right
your life. Is it just because like the ending seemed like no matter what, I'm here, and that's good and all well, but like
don't put yourself through that.
Yeah, don't put yourself
it's
through the
a lot.
ringer at the behest of him because he saved your life.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, not to take away from the wholesomeness of this, it sounds like, that was kind of like an awakening, and he is going to be making strides, and he has begun making strides to be a better partner and a better father. And I don't even know if he it just sounds like he, like what Josh said, he just got in a depressed kind of state, and it's like hope therapy or being able to talk to each other will help him realize kind of the state he was in, and like that it's not just because he's going through that doesn't mean that gave him an excuse to put like the family through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it sounds like all in all, things are going great. Things are going good on the recovery. So hopefully it's just more of that. And this has been, the next chapter of y'all's, lives as partners and things.
And I will say therapy does help with like building mechanisms to help you realize when you're going down those routes, and then like being able to be like, okay, I do need help right now. So hopefully that his therapy currently will help him in the future if he ever does go through something like that again.
And I want to touch on a little bit more of like what Josh said about, I feel like communication is definitely a huge foundation in marriages or just relationships in general. And I think one of the patterns that I've seen here is that I hear it a lot in just tropes and just shows or just like stories all around that, hey, my father used to be like this, and for some reason you end up morphing like this. I think that's a problem of like patriarchy, right? Like I think it's perfectly valid to feel pressure to provide for your family. It's okay to feel some sort of, oh my God, how the fuck are we going to pay for the next bill? It's like those are normal human emotions, and that's just tough things that a lot of people like deal with on a daily basis. But to me, I always view marriage as not only someone who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, but I also view it as a partnership, and a lot of times when those things do get tough, there's a reason why you have a partner. You have a partner to carry the load with you. You have a partner to carry that burden with you. It's never going to be 100% of the time, or it's never going to be 50-50 at the time. Sometimes, your partner is going to be doing 70% of the work. You can only do 30. But a true partnership is like, you just help each other out no matter how much percentage you can give. Sometimes your 30% is your 100%, and that's perfectly fine for a lot of people. There's just so much stigma about men opening up like their emotions. I quite frankly, I was like that for the longest time, and I see it in a lot of like very conservative like cultures. I think the Filipinos are one of them. For the longest time, like we didn't believe that therapy is a thing, right? Like there's so much like stigmas, and there's always like, these things about like Filipinos are
It's crazy to treat therapy like a ghost. It's like, I don't believe in them.
It's funny because like the comedian that I was going along with, they had a performing act before that, and they were talking about like how Mexican culture is the same. So it's I feel like a lot of countries who are like, raised conservatively like that, they're just like, I'll just put everything to God. Like he'll take care of all that shit. Well, I mean, if you do believe that, fine. That's all. You can do that, but you also need to like seek professional help, in my opinion. And then I jumped into a career field where it's like, if you display any sort of like weakness, mental health wise, that's like a career like death for you. So for the longest time, like I was apprehensive about that. And there were so many times where I bottled in emotions. I am so fucking fortunate that I, been married with my best friend for the longest, that like now I don't give a shit if I cry in front of her, like I feel like that's men just needs to find that comfort space, just to be like, hey, if you think you feel weak for like showing emotions, hell no, brother.
Yeah.
Fucking own that shit. Because now if you have, like what Josh is saying, if you go seek professional help to be able to handle those emotions better, get those coping mechanisms are skills. It's just like lifting weights. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you keep working on that shit, you will do a better job of like fucking carrying that load better. Like your sets are going to be better, you know? So let's end, you know, the generational cycle of like, oh, my dad did this, did that. Be better. And like what the boys are saying, it's unfortunate that it took such a drastic event for, you know, the husband to open up when this could have been done the whole time in their marriage. So I know I went on a rant there, but people, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. It doesn't make you weak. Who gives a fuck? Fuck what society says sometimes. Like, own your emotions, do what you need to do.
And a true partner will like support you
Exactly.
in feeling your true emotions. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right, let's end this episode before we hit our Patreon and YouTube members. This one is another amazing Underbaki segment of Rate That Date.
Let's go.
And once again, this is all listeners submitted from our Discord. So if you're not on Discord, what are you doing?
Come on.
Join the most awesome community in the world. So this one is
They're
sent.
not that awesome. They've been bullying me a lot. And I don't
Just
like
Fred.
Just Fred, your number one up.
it. Hey, everyone that likes it, you're also on the list.
I'm about to like it real quick. All of them.
You've liked all of them already, John. Don't
I didn't
act
like
you
all
haven't.
of them. Not all of them. Some of them,
A
but not all.
majority.
Don't you put that all shit on me. Just kidding. All right. This first story is from Butterfly, and it goes as this. I went on a date during my first year of uni around the new year in 2018. Context, I was a 24-year-old first year going to school, and I met this guy on Tinder. He was 23, a fourth year in the same university, but different major, and before meeting him, I would play OG Overwatch. You used to play Overwatch, right, Josh? Or you
Oh
still do?
yeah. That was when it was peak.
I was trash. I thought he was a good guy, so I agreed to go on a date. We decided to do a movie, which is usually a safe bet. I meet him at the theater, and he comes up to me looking pretty nice, at least 6'2", pretty skinny and nerdy. He was my type, and his comment to me was, "Oh, you're shorter than I thought." Now, I'm 5'3". It's not hard being taller than me. In fact, it's more impressive if a guy is shorter than me, which is a comment I never thought I would get. I was expecting the "you're fat" comment because I am overweight, and that's been a fear. He decided to pick the movie, which was, did they put Jimani? I don't know if that's supposed to be Jumanji. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And this was a theater where you pick the seats. I told him to prefer seats in the center or towards the back, and he told me, "No, I prefer the front."
He's a psycho.
That's insane. I don't have neck issues.
Nah,
I guess if it's like the front that has the reclining ones where you can
still, that's too
but
close,
even
brother.
then, like I can't, like my eyes, like I don't even like going to IMAX. For me personally, it's just too much.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
fair.
I watched Batman in IMAX and I was like, where the fuck do I look, brother? It's everywhere.
Sean would hate the sphere.
No, yeah.
Oh,
The idea of it is so cool. I think even sober, I'd be like
it's
fucking
pretty.
tripped out.
It's pretty wild. And puts us in the front. Think 5 rows in front of the screen. I look at him and ask about popcorn and drinks, as I had very intention to pay for our popcorn since he had paid for the tickets. He deadass told me he had a New Year's resolution to lose weight. I laughed because I thought he was joking, and he told me, "I'm dead serious." And I stopped laughing.
I mean,
We get into oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I guess he doesn't have to get popcorn, but
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, you could say it in a less douchey way,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. We get into the theater, and he sat us with 2 separate children's birthday parties in the row below and the row above. So you can imagine it got loud. Trying to talk to him about myself, which being an army brat from Alberta in Ontario seemed to be very interesting. That's neck of the woods, Josh, in Ontario. He looked at me and said, "Do you always talk so loud? I have sensitive ears." I wanted to cry a little and explain to him my mom is legally deaf. It's something I'm used to and something I've been working on, and screaming kids.
Also, why would you pick a date in a goddamn movie theater
Yeah.
if you're
That one's
worried
gonna be
about
loud, bro.
noise?
Yeah.
That shit is loud as fuck.
And you put yourself in a party in between kids. That shit is gonna be loud, brother. What the fuck do you expect? After the movie, we decided to go to get something to eat. Being a broke uni student, we decided to go to A&W. I didn't feel all that hungry because of the whole popcorn thing, and I felt like if I ate something, he might make a comment. He looked at me and told me, "I'm not buying you anything here," and proceeds to get an A&W root beer float, which though slaps, and now I want one, but he wouldn't have popcorn because he was losing weight.
Yeah, I was about to say a fucking ice cream float, brother. I think.
So many calories.
I sat down with him and started talking to him more.
Also, isn't popcorn kind of like? I mean, if you don't get the butter, the
it's
Not
butter's
movie theater popcorn, but
yeah,
oh, not
the
movie, it's
butter
different.
is fucking crazy.
it's still way less than a float. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
still way less calories.
The amount of sodium I put in that bitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You see the people put the straw in the popcorn and then put the butter through the
butter
straw.
thing.
Oh my god, that's genius.
So the butter.
I just
Goes
get layered
throughout.
butter. Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing. You could do that.
Oh yeah. That's a trick.
Wait, what is it?
You ask for layered butter, so they fill it up half and then they put butter on it and then they fill up the rest and then put butter on the top.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a trick from working in the movie theater.
Oh my
Interesting.
god. I gotta do. I love putting like a little Parmesan thing on top. That's
Mm.
fucking
Fancy.
so good. I sat down with him and started talking to him more. He asked me why I started uni at 23, which is a question I've gotten before. So I explained it took a bit to figure out what I wanted to do after high school, and one meeting with BioWare made me realize I wanted to be a concept artist.
Hell yeah,
Hmm.
that's sick.
Draw us, please. He looked at me and went, "I wouldn't have started uni if I was that old."
That's not that old, dude.
2030?
That shattered me a little and I checked out. We sit there for another 15 minutes and I say I'm kind of tired. We go to leave and he doesn't throw out his cup, which is an asshole move, so I threw it out. He looked at me with a disgusted look and then proceeded to ask if I wanted to go to his place. Before I could say no, he was
What
like,
a bold ass. You've been a fucking dickhead this whole goddamn. You're lucky she went to dinner with your ass.
Yeah.
Before I could say no, he was like, "That's a 30-minute walk and you'd be tired after." We then said our goodbyes. I took a cab home and ghosted him. So on a scale of 1 to 5, rate that date.
One.
One. Yeah, that is
There's no
Fucking
redeeming qualities.
terrible.
Nope.
He sounds like he sucks ass.
To even float the idea of sleeping together
Float.
after that.
Ha!
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Good one, Josh.
Is fucking ludicrous. It's terrible. It's tacky.
I don't have much else to say. We said most of it throughout the story, but yeah, that
Yeah.
guy sucks ass.
Damn, I want an A&W root beer float now.
Oh man.
You know, I've never been to an A&W. I think we only had one in Houston. I don't know
Mm.
if it's still around.
I think the one in Canada is a different franchise than the one in the States.
I think they always combine it with like a Long John Silver's with us.
Interesting.
I don't have a lot of those anymore.
You guys have good barbecue? Get over yourselves.
All right, story number 2 from Kawaii Trash Nico 97. They put, I once went on a date on Valentine's Day. We have been texting for about a month, and I was excited to meet him in real life. He suggested we meet on Valentine's Day. I said yes, because I've never been on a date on Valentine's Day. So I got all dolled up. I wore a super cute outfit with bright red lips. He told me that he would be wearing an all red suit. I said, great, I'll also wear an all red outfit. He suggested we meet at the mall. I said, great, set a date and time. The day comes and I'm waiting and waiting. It's been over 2 hours and he
Hell
never showed
no.
up. So I was super upset. I was about to leave when I saw this person in an all red furry suit. I thought it was cute. They hired a person to walk around like this for Valentine's Day.
They didn't hire a person.
It's them.
It's
They
them.
They come up to me, hand me a dozen roses, and proceed to take off his head to say, "Hi, I'm the guy you've been texting for over a month." I gasp, and in Spanish, it's the gasp in Spanish meme is all I can fucking think about in my head. I gasped, and in Spanish, "No, I'm sorry, wrong person, no English," and ran away. I cried in my car and drove home. He texted me saying why I ran away, and I said because it was embarrassing and I don't like all that attention. He called me a narcissist bitch, and I don't even know a real man when I see one. And that we never texted again.
Jesus.
1 to 5, rate that date.
I mean, also a 1.
Yeah, that went to a 1 quick. That went from a 2 to a 1 quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the intricacies of dating and being a furry, but I
you
feel
have
like
to
that's something
disclose
you should disclose before
Yeah.
the date. You know, hey, don't be shocked if you see somebody in a red furry costume.
Yeah. But also he was like hours late, wasn't he? So
2 hours, bro.
So yeah, you're an asshole
Yeah.
for that.
For
The
being
fact that
late
she
on top of
stayed that long is crazy.
And then yeah, you didn't clarify that the suit you were getting in was a furry suit, which do what you want to do, but
Let him know ahead of
yeah,
time.
give someone a heads up. You know what I mean?
For sure. All right. Last one for the day. This one is from Arcade. It goes as this. As the world started opening back up for COVID, I downloaded dating apps again, but had a string of bad luck. They put dating as a trans person is hard. Oh, and being a perfectionist, as this comes in later. After the last person I matched with went all nice guy to neckbeard. I deleted the app and didn't bother for a few weeks. At the encouragement of my therapist, she said to give it another chance. It's nice to go outside sometimes, so I did because what better reason to download a dating app when you're sad and lonely? When I re-downloaded, I saw I had swiped on someone right before I deleted it, but he swiped on me after. I decided to message back, not expecting to get anything since it had been weeks. He did end up messaging me back after a few days later, and after some vetting, decided to meet. I arrive at the place, and after a text exchange, I realized I went to the wrong location. I became frantic, trying to drive to the correct coffee shop, thinking the entire time, oh my god, I ghosted him and now he thinks I'm standing him up. And in the 30-minute drive, I'm debating canceling, giving up and locking myself in my apartment until I'm old because I'm so embarrassed, because he has to feel like I'm either a mess or I'm not interested. I finally get there, red-faced, immediately start spewing apologies. He just smiled and said, no, it's cool. You're a normal person. 3 years later, and we just got married.
Oh,
Happily
yeah.
listening to your podcast on our lazy Sundays.
Let's go.
You don't have to be perfect for someone who could be your soulmate because your soulmate will accept you as you are. So 1 to 5, rate that date.
I mean, if I
2, you were late. I'm kidding, I'm
Holy
kidding.
shit. Holy shit. I take.
Oh my God, be prompt. OP.
And you
What the
showed up in a
fuck are
furry costume? Crazy. No, that's a 5 out of 5 for sure. Hell yeah. Shout out to you and your partner for 3 years. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats.
They also wrote a separate message for us. They put, I don't mind if this gets read. We just really appreciate the boys, not only for their entertainment, but for helping us and others be more emotionally aware and in tune with others. Thank you all for what you do in managing the Discord as well. We don't do any managing. That's all Saskia, by the
Yep.
way. As you can tell, I have anxiety, so I mainly lurk, but thanks for being the glue that holds everything together. From Arcade.
Hell yeah. Shout out to
Hell
you
yeah,
guys.
Arcade.
All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode. But before we close it off, boys, anything you'd like to add?
I got a couple merch messages I can go through.
Let's do
Wow.
it.
Someday I will get through all these, but not today. Crystal says, I love what you... Oh, so this is back in March. So this is the OG.
Uh-oh.
No, this was the 69 merch.
Nah, this is 69 merch.
Yeah,
That's
March
Sean made.
Madness.
Crystal
Mhm.
says, I love what you do and how you stand up for the right side of gestures around. W love from your main listener, Diamond.
Ooh,
I
shout
like
out
that
to
you're-
Diamond.
Diamond.
Username's Crystal and your name's Diamond. That's
Diamond.
I like that.
I say Diamond was one of the goats. If it's the same Diamond I'm thinking of,
Could be.
probably we've been reading your name for a while.
Yeah. Sandra says, thanks for the awesome comment during my work grind. Amanda says, as a therapist, I can't wait to wear my Get Therapy shirt to work. I love being a rich despite being a poor in real life. So shout out Amanda.
Therapist approved are the boys?
Yeah.
Shit.
Pine says, thank you for being so wholesome. Amelia says, love you guys. Y'all are so funny and bring joy to my boring ass internship days. Heart emoji. Adam says, buying this for my wife's birthday. She adores
Oh,
your
yeah.
show and listens daily. The Gaycation episode had her in hysterics. So shout out Adam. Thrifty said, newly poor but rich motherfucker, but I love you guys. And since Sean is crying about it, I've decided to purchase one of his creations. LOL.
Hell yeah. I feel like we're about to get a bunch of these.
Shannon said, love you guys so much. Lauren said, just became a rich on the YouTube side, and I love that I found your channel to add to my rotation and working on listening to the backlog.
Hell yeah. Don't go too far back.
Well, you might have completed it by the time I've read this out. It's been months, but
I couldn't have warned you.
Julia said, good design. The only time my mug is used in my home is by my mom, so excited to hand her this one on her next visit.
Holy shit.
Nice.
69.
Gregory said, relate a lot. My mother-in-law is Filipina, so much commentary relates. Y'all make work brighter. Nice merch. Need more than 140 characters. So shout out Gregory.
I think there's no limit on Venmo if you want to just go ahead.
True.
Make Sean not go to office Mondays again, please.
I mean, I don't get any of the Venmo, so maybe keep buying merch.
Chrissy says, listening always makes my day brighter and housework easier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Valeria says, hello from Puerto Rico. Love you guys. Thanks for making the best of my weeks. I feel like you guys are my friends. Alex says, getting to wear this on my internship for my marriage and family therapy master's program, and I am so excited.
The gaycation one or the get therapy?
I might be the get therapy. I was picturing the 69 shirt.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That would have been crazy.
I sure hope it's the get therapy for that one.
I sure hope it's a 69 shirt. Are you kidding me?
Crystal says, I'm just trying to make Sean happy, ..
Thank you.
I hope
Thank
I
you.
spelled that correctly. And they did.
I appreciate it.
Ew.
Aaron said, sending this as a surprise gift to my younger brother as a jersey he can wear at his summer EDM music festivals. Oh, Marina says, therapist here now rocking Get Therapy merch. Thanks for
Hell
the
yeah.
laughs, guys. You would be great counselors.
Don't.
I disagree, but
If you want fucking petty people walking around this planet, no.
Janelle says, buying to let Sean know I love the design. Thank you for all you guys do.
You're a real one.
I'll do 3 more. Berto says, thank you for all the laughs, the awesome merchandise, and for helping a great cause. Keep it up. Also, dope design, Sean.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh, sheesh.
Sean spelled SHAUN.
I'd take it back.
The ego was stroked. Then not again.
Then not again. Jasmine says, amazing design, Sean. Can't wait to see what other designs you come up with. Fist bump emojis.
That's the first and last, baby. That's it.
Oof, and this has got to be the toughest way I've seen Sean spelled. Karina says, I've got you, Sean, spelled CHEY apostrophe capital A WHNE. My first merch buy and happy proceeds help out Planned Parenthood. Love y'all in this podcast.
Oh, that was tough.
That was a tough one.
That was a tough one.
But yeah, so go check out our Gaycation merch that's up now. Proceeds are going to the Trevor Project, and you can send us a message that we will read
Eventually.
2 or 3 months from now.
And if some of those messages are making you wish that you would have copped the 69 merch, it will be back in November. It will be back in November.
Yes.
That will all go towards us for our Sean fund.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
great,
that,
people.
that does go right to us. I won't lie to you guys. We can't state it enough. The November goes directly to us.
Yeah.
We-
So
No
that better be the
charities.
peak time you motherfuckers buy your shit. Oh, all right. Anything else, boys, before we close it off, Sean? Anything?
No. Just apologies again for if my energy seemed weird. I'm tired.
We bet, brother.
Sean needs a nap.
Yeah.
Josh and I are trying to work extra hard for you, brother. We want you to be with us all the time.
I want to work hard too.
All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode. And if you like what we do, again, hit that subscribe button or follow us all over social media. If you want bonus stories, bonus episode, bonus live streams, all of that shit, all our links going to be in the show notes. But until then, we will see you on Wednesday for a live stream.
Friday for everyone else.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Get therapy.